Hello, Los Angeles Dodgers fans. We've got fresh exclusive videos and the latest updates just for you. Before we dive in, make sure to join our channel and hit that like button. This is the best way to stay on top of all the breaking news. The Los Angeles Dodgers, sitting comfortably at the top of the National League, have built their 2025 campaign around star power, roster depth, and elite-level coaching. But as any seasoned fan knows, no amount of talent can completely shield a team from the cruel hand of injuries. The latest blow? None other than Japanese phenom Roki Sasaki, whose promising rookie season has been suddenly and frustratingly derailed by a shoulder impingement. It's a tough break for the Dodgers, who are already dealing with the absences of Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow, both on the 15-day injured list. And while Sasaki's numbers haven't exactly blown anyone away in his first few starts, his ceiling has always been the reason fans and analysts alike were excited. Now, with Sasaki sidelined for an indefinite period, the conversation has shifted from development to durability, and the concern in Los Angeles is very real. Roki Sasaki came into the MLB spotlight with the kind of hype reserved for the game's rarest imports. After dazzling in Japan with a near-mythical fastball and video game stats, the 23-year-old landed with the Dodgers amid high expectations and serious buzz. Everyone, from scouts to YouTube analysts, wanted to see how his electric arm would translate to Major League Baseball, but the transition hasn't been seamless. In 8 appearances, Sasaki posted a 4.72 ERA, surrendering 29 hits, 18 earned runs, and issuing 22 walks over just 34.1 innings. Sure, he struck out 24 batters along the way, but command and consistency have been a major issue. Even before the injury, his performances were raising eyebrows for the wrong reasons. And now, with his latest health setback, the question isn't just when will he return, but will he ever live up to the hype? Insider Fabian Ardaya, speaking on Foul Territory, didn't mince words when discussing Sasaki's situation. I think they should be at least somewhat worried, Ardaya said, especially since this is a shoulder issue he was dealing with last year too. That's where the concern deepens. This isn't a fresh injury. It's a re-emergence of a problem that has previously plagued the young pitcher. Shoulders, unlike elbows, don't often bounce back cleanly in pitchers. The nature of the injury, combined with Sasaki's unique throwing mechanics, has the Dodgers staff asking tough questions. Is this a chronic issue? Can it be corrected with mechanics or surgery? Or is this simply the price of throwing gas at 100+ mph? Right now, there aren't a lot of clear answers. Before the shoulder began barking, there were already signs that something wasn't quite right with Sasaki's velocity. According to Ardaya, the drop in his fastball speed was evident. This wasn't just a small dip. It was significant enough to raise red flags. Sasaki, known for his blazing heater that once touched 102 in Japan, was now struggling to reach the upper 90s. In a league where velocity is often the difference between a strikeout and a home run, this regression was noticeable. And for a player whose entire game is built around overpowering hitters, that's a problem. Velocity isn't everything, but for Sasaki, it's foundational. Without it, the rest of his arsenal loses effectiveness. And the scouts who once salivated over his potential start shifting their tone. The Dodgers now find themselves in an unenviable position. On one hand, they can't afford to rush Sasaki back and risk a more serious injury. On the other, their rotation is being held together with duct tape. With Snell and Glasnow out, the team has leaned heavily on depth arms and bullpen games. But that strategy can only last so long. October baseball is built on dominant starting pitching, and if the Dodgers want to return to the World Series, they'll need everyone at full strength, including Sasaki. His injury couldn't have come at a worse time, and it adds another layer of uncertainty to an already fragile rotation. What started as a promising rookie campaign has now turned into a waiting game, and one with serious playoff implications. There's also the psychological toll to consider. For a rookie like Sasaki, injuries not only interrupt development, they mess with confidence. He's in a foreign country, adjusting to a new culture, new hitters, and the immense pressure that comes with being labeled the next big thing. Add in an injury that clouds his future, and you've got a mental challenge that's as difficult as anything he'll face on the mound. The Dodgers know this. That's why they've invested heavily in sports psychology and support systems to help international players adjust. Still, there's only so much you can do. For Sasaki to reach his full potential, his body has to cooperate, and right now it's not doing him any favors. From a fan's perspective, it's frustrating. Sasaki was supposed to be part of the next generation of Dodgers pitching, an anchor for the future, alongside names like Bobby Miller and Gavin Stone. Instead, his debut season feels incomplete, almost like a trailer to a movie that might never get made. But it's also a reminder of just how volatile pitching prospects can be. Even those with the brightest resumes, no matter how hard you throw or how much promise you show. Health is the great equalizer. The Dodgers have seen this story before, with arms like Walker Buehler, Dustin May, and now Sasaki. It's becoming a trend they can't seem to shake. But let's not write Sasaki off just yet. There's still time for him to get healthy, recalibrate, and return to form. He's young, he's got world-class trainers at his disposal, and the Dodgers have no incentive to rush him back before he's ready. The long-term outlook still has plenty of upside if this impingement proves manageable. The key will be how the Dodgers handle his rehab, whether they tweak his mechanics, change his workload, or even consider a temporary move to the bullpen to ease his arm back into action. It'll be a slow process, but one that could pay massive dividends if handled correctly. After all, even with the rocky start, Sasaki's potential hasn't disappeared. In the meantime, the Dodgers need to stay afloat. Their offense, headlined by Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Shohei Ohtani, has been doing most of the heavy lifting. But you can't slug your way through the entire season, especially once the playoffs arrive. The return of Snell and Glasnow will help, but the team's overall health is becoming a major storyline as the All-Star break approaches. Fans will be watching closely for updates on Sasaki's shoulder. Any glimpse of progress, bullpen session, or positive MRI will be welcome. News. Until then, it's all about patience, faith in the process, and hoping his latest injury doesn't turn into a long-term narrative. Ultimately, Sasaki's future remains unwritten. Maybe this is just a speed bump on his road to stardom, or maybe it's the start of a more complicated journey. What's certain is that the Dodgers, despite all their resources and star power, are not immune to the unpredictable nature of pitching injuries. For now, Sasaki is on the shelf, and the questions outweigh the answers. But if there's one thing we've learned from this franchise, it's that they rarely panic. They adapt, they prepare, and most importantly, they play the long game. Roki Sasaki's story in Los Angeles isn't over. It's just on pause. But that pause is echoing louder than anyone expected. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. For weeks, Dodgers fans have been holding their breath, waiting for something, anything positive about their $182 million ace. And now, finally, we've got it. Blake Snell, the two-time Cy Young winner who had everyone buzzing when he signed, with Los Angeles last December, has finally received a positive injury update. After being shut down back in April due to inflammation in his throwing shoulder, Snell is back throwing. Granted, it's just from 60 feet, but that's not nothing. That's progress. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts confirmed the lefty resumed playing catch, and while that might sound like a small step, it's actually a major green flag in a situation that had been all red lights for over a month. Snell met with a doctor earlier this week, and apparently the news was good enough to let him ramp things back up. And believe me, if the Dodgers want to make another deep October run, they'll need Snell back in form. Let's not forget how high the expectations were when Snell inked that 5-year, $182 million contract. It was one of the marquee moves of the offseason, and Dodgers fans were dreaming of a rotation stacked with aces. Snell, Glasnow, Sasaki, and maybe even a resurgent Kershaw. But the dream quickly hit turbulence. Snell made just 2 starts before landing on the injured list, and in those appearances, let's be honest, he looked rough. And 0-3 record and a 9.51 ERA in 23.2 innings to start the season. That's not what you want from your highest paid pitcher. Still, it's early, and Snell has always been a slow starter. Historically, he's turned it on after the All-Star break. where he holds a ridiculous career 2.32 ERA. So if there's any silver lining here, is that time might just be on his side. And let's talk about that shoulder inflammation. Any pitcher would tell you, when the shoulder starts barking, it's serious. You don't mess with that. The Dodgers medical team made the right call by shutting him down early rather than pushing him through it. Remember, this is a marathon season. Rushing a guy like Snell back too soon could have risked his entire year, or worse. That said, now that he's tossing again, we're likely looking at a multi-week ramp-up process. He'll need to progress from flat ground tosses to bullpen sessions, simulated games, and eventually a rehab assignment. But hey, for now, it's just good to see the guy back out there doing something. It's also wild to think how the Dodgers have thrived despite all this. They're sitting at 29-15, the best record in the National League, and they've done it using a jaw-dropping 12 different starting pitchers. That's not just depth, that's wizardry. Snell, Sasaki, Glasnow, Kershaw, and Gonsolin have all missed time. Shohei Ohtani hasn't even touched the mound this season due to his elbow recovery. Yet somehow LA just keeps rolling. It's a testament to smart management, a relentless bullpen, and some serious next man up energy. But you have to wonder, how long can they keep patching the rotation before they need a real ace to stabilize things? Which brings us right back to Snell. This is what the Dodgers paid him for. Not just to rack up strikeouts in April or cruise through May, but to dominate down the stretch and into October. This team has World Series ambitions. Scratch that, World Series expectations. They're the reigning champs, and they want more. But to win it all again, you need more than a stacked lineup and a lights-out bullpen. You need starters who can shove when it matters most. Snell has proven he can do that. He threw a no-hitter with the Giants last August, and he's no stranger to high-pressure playoff starts. If he can return anywhere close to form, the Dodgers' path to another championship suddenly looks a whole lot clearer. And let's not overlook the human side of this story. Snell's had a roller coaster ride these past couple of years. From San Diego to San Francisco to LA, with sky-high highs and frustrating lows. He's one of the most talented lefties in the game, but consistency has been his Achilles heel. And now, with his injury scare behind him, for now, he's got a shot at redemption in Dodger Blue. That's a storyline fans can rally behind. Everyone loves a comeback. And there's something special about a pitcher finding his groove late in the season and carrying that momentum into October. That's the kind of thing that becomes legend in Los Angeles. Of course, this isn't just about one guy. The Dodgers' rotation is a patchwork of elite talent and question marks. Roki Sasaki, the Japanese phenom with a heater that touches 102, is still sidelined with a shoulder issue of his own. Tyler Glasnow, another high upside arm, has been in and out with shoulder problems too. Kershaw is expected to make his 2025 debut this weekend against the Angels. And that's a huge boost. But he's 37 and coming off major surgery. Gonsolin is slowly working his way back, and Ohtani won't pitch again until 2025. That's a lot of uncertainty, which is why getting Snell healthy and back to form might be the single biggest factor in the Dodgers' title defense. Still, with all that said, nobody's putting a hard timeline on Snell's return yet. And frankly, that's wise. You can't rush shoulder recovery, especially not with a guy this valuable. The plan seems to be go slow, stay steady, and make sure he's 100% before stepping on a mound in a game again. Because the only thing worse than waiting is watching him get hurt again. So while fans might be itching to see, I should say, before back in Dodger Stadium, they'll have to be patient. The long game matters here. And if it means having a fresh, dominant Snell in August and September, the wait will be worth it. For now, the mood in LA is cautiously optimistic. Snell's throwing. The wheels are turning. And while he's still weeks away from pitching, in a real game, this is the first real light at the end of the tunnel. If all goes well, we could be looking at a second-half resurgence that completely shifts the narrative from disappointing start to heroic finish. That's the dream. And in baseball, sometimes the dream is just a few throws away from reality. So stay tuned, Dodger fans, because if Blake Snell can get right, the rest of the league better watch out. And just imagine the postseason rotation if everything clicks. Snell, Kershaw, Glasnow, Sasaki, maybe even Ohtani coming out of the pen for a few special appearances. That's the kind of depth that wins titles. That's the kind of rotation that makes hitters sweat in October. And that's exactly why this little 60-foot game of catch matters so much. It's not just about one arm. It's about the whole season, the whole narrative, the whole mission. The Dodgers didn't spend $182 million for April. They spent it for October. And if Blake Snell gets there healthy, that money just might buy them another championship. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.